Hi guys, I wanted to pop on. I'm just feeling called to share my experience from this weekend because I think that a lot of these things that I experience are things that other people experience and we get confused with other things. So I wanted to talk about that and just share a little bit about my journey with you. I'm out here on a little hike, so excuse my sweat. I'm all done with that, but I just felt like I wanted to share and I wanted to film it here because it's so beautiful here. So yesterday, for the first time in a very long time, I had a panic attack, like a full-blown panic attack. Luckily, at this point, I've had enough of those that I am able to find my way through that. It takes me a little time. It takes me some deep breathing and calming techniques, but I had that triggered. And so I wanted to just talk about what happened with that because I think a lot of people on here deal with things like anxiety or panic attacks or having these experiences where you get very, very overwhelmed. So let me talk about what led up to that in the first place. So I was having a conversation with Nicole Eaton. Some of you guys know her. She was who I started my business with originally until she moved to North Carolina, and we're still really close friends and we talk all the time. We still do events and do things together. And so we were having a conversation, and Nicole has this way of challenging me and pushing me out of my comfort zone. And that's always been true. That was actually how I started the business in the first place, was number one, a conversation that we had that really sparked my spiritual awakening when she was reminding me of my intuitive gifts, but also just in the process of, she's just a really brave human, and in inspiring me to be brave enough to step away from the work that I was doing at the time and be brave enough to bet it all on myself and to start my own business and to start this journey that I've been on. So she's always had this way of doing that. And we were talking about just some stuff. I've been feeling really overwhelmed with things. I've been very successful with things, which is fantastic. And I've met so many amazing people. I work with so many amazing clients. And so I'm trying to do all the things because I have all of these things within me. And maybe some of you guys can relate with this, but I have all these things within me that just want to be expressed through me, right? It's like this calling, this feeling of what I feel God is calling me to do is to share these messages, is to do these things, is to connect with people in these ways. And it's quite frankly a lot. I'm a mom. I'm, trying to do that, trying to run a business, trying to do God's work. Luckily, my business and God's work are one and the same, but it's gotten to a point where it has become a lot and overwhelming, and I'm having difficulty keeping up with responding to messages and doing all of the editing and doing all the things. And so I've known for quite some time I need some help. I have to stop doing this all on my own, but I keep avoiding that. And so she yesterday challenged me on that, and that I kind of expected. But what I didn't expect, we were talking about me connecting with a virtual assistant that she knows, and what I didn't expect was the kickback that I got from my ego in simply exploring the possibility of doing that, right? You wouldn't expect that choosing to let someone help you or making that leap would trigger a panic attack, but it did for me because honestly, this business has been my baby and so important to me, and it's really, really difficult to release control. It's really difficult for me to trust anybody else with that. And it's funny, I talk about trust all the time, but I have been hanging on to this with a tight grip and really scared to let go of that. So as I opened to that idea and as she challenged me, I started to spin. My anxiety just started to build. And one thing that I've noticed is that for me, whenever something is really important for me to do, or when I'm having a moment that's like a breakthrough moment, I notice that I will get what feels to be a panic attack. What I believe that to be is actually just a lot of energy flowing into my system. And me like processing a lot of energy in that moment, me feeling the power of that moment, but it feels very much like anxiety. It looks very much like anxiety. So that started to build, and I was crying, and I'm telling her about that. And she reminded me of a time when we first were starting our business, and we decided that we were going to film a video. And my history with speaking, I have been scared of that my entire life, and for years really would do things to challenge myself with that because it would make me sick to my stomach. I was worried about it weeks in advance. Whenever I would have to just even speak, I was scared to speak out in class or even just in conversations. Sometimes that was always really difficult, the anxiety that I felt around speaking. So she encouraged me to push myself out of my comfort zone and to make a video with her. And in the middle of the video, we actually still have it, I had a panic attack, and we had to stop the video. I had to go into the bathroom at the office that we had at the time and calm myself down. And it took a little while, but you know what I did is I came back and filmed the video, because even then I recognized that whatever that fear was that was being stirred up within me, I had to challenge it. I couldn't let it get the best of me. And she pointed out, she was like, you know, this is like that time that we went to make the video. And I said, you know what, Nicole, this is the exact same feeling. This is literally the exact same feeling. And then I recognized that what was happening for me was I was feeling the energy. I was having a breakthrough. You know, I was recognizing, she said to me, you have to let people help you, which is funny because I just had put up my Taurus reading for the summer, and I say that several times in that reading, and I'm a Taurus, right? So I watched that video again and basically schooled myself. But yeah, because the messages were for me too. So she said, this feeling is the same. This is exactly like that. And she said, I want you to imagine if you had never made that video. And it's funny because that was such a pivotal point for me. That was where I started to do more speaking. I started to do more videos, and it took me a long time. I still get a little nervous when I make videos, and you guys see I make videos all the time now, but it took me a while. I had to like be in it, right? And that's the way to work through our fears, is to be in it, is to do it, is to push ourselves anyway. So I had to calm myself down, had to bring myself through that panic attack. But I said to her, you know what, like same thing as before. Number one, thank you for inspiring me. Thank you for moving me out of this. But I refuse to let this fear get the best of me. And I refuse to let this moment pass me by, which I feel is an opening, is an opportunity for a breakthrough, for a change, to do things differently, for things to get easier for me, and for me to do what I feel called to do, right? And I can't do that all on my own, even if like that stubborn Taurus in me would prefer to in some ways. I have to let people help me. So I recognized that, and I said all of that to her, and she said, okay, I would like to see a screenshot of you sending this person a message by tomorrow night. So I'm happy to say that I've done that. I've started that process. I am now officially letting people help me, and I'm gonna follow down that trail and see where that path leads me, and see where else I might allow help. And I'm really excited about that. So I'm excited too about what this will mean for you guys, and what I'm able to share with you all, what I'm able to add to my membership that I have. If you're not on my membership, make sure you check that out at claritybychristy.com. We're doing all kinds of amazing things on there, but it just opens things up that much more. I'm just going to start small. You know, this is still out of my comfort zone, but we're going to see where it takes me. And so like, I want you guys to keep that in mind too. Like when you get overwhelmed, when you feel like you're panicking, you're scared, you're like, I wanted to avoid that to the core of my being. It was so uncomfortable yesterday over this like thing that seems so silly, right? But honestly, it felt like part of me was dying. I know that sounds dramatic, but that's really what it felt like. Like part of me, and it was like part of my ego was dying, right? The part of my ego that wanted to fight against that wants to be super independent and wants to do it myself and wants to control it. And she put up a good fight, I'll tell you that. So keep that in mind for yourself when you're having these moments. And just because you feel anxious, just because you feel overwhelmed, does not mean that you shouldn't do it. When I listened to my soul, when I tuned into my soul said, this is a hell yes. This is like, what are you doing? You've been overwhelmed for a long time. Just do it. You've been thinking about this for a long time. Just do it. And so I did it. And I hope that this is inspiration for you guys to continue to push yourself out of your comfort zone. You will always be called to be pushed out of your comfort zone. One leap of faith leads to another, at least if you have a growth mindset. So keep that in mind. And I am rooting for all of you. You guys are doing amazing things. I'm watching so many of you push yourself out of your comfort zone every day. I would love to hear in comments your commitment, right? I made that commitment to do that and I did it. I would love to hear from you guys. Let me hold you accountable. What is your commitment to yourself for what it is that you've been feeling called to do, for what it is that leap of faith you've been called to make? This all happened kind of on that tail end of the full moon energy. And I was saying we might feel ourselves this week feeling really called to make leaps of faith. And I guess that was one of mine. I'd love to hear yours. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you soon. Bye.